and advocacy roles that as part of the referral profession that we are.
Anything you'd add to that, Jeff?
Well, first, let me just put down a marker, Dominic. If I wouldn't otherwise see it, I'd love to see the article that you're working on. If you could arrange for that to come across when it does appear.
I can send you it with the caveat that you do not disseminate it elsewhere. I can send you the draft that I've written if you wish.
I'll be very happy to do that.
Yeah.
To take it on that basis. There won't be as much interest in the pub here as there might be up in London in any event. But no, please do send it along. And
sure.
The only thing I'd add, going back right to the beginning of your question, because it sort of reached out, what do we offer, Simon and I combined, that might otherwise not have been there? And in a sense, we represent a twofer. Simon's a bencher. I'm an honorary bencher at our respective inns, and the fact that both of us play active roles in our inns is evidence of the relevance we attach to our activities in the wider profession, and not just in Chambers itself. It's a combination of advocacy skills on Simon's end and a measure of management skill and experience on mine, which again I think warmed the hearts of our fellow members of Chambers. I'm not a qualified barrister, but I am the U.S. equivalent. In other words, I'm admitted to practice before the courts there, not only two leading state courts, but also before the U.S. Supreme Court. And these days, and it's the principal reason why I now sit in Chambers, I spend a great deal of my practice time in courts as an expert witness, and also as a I spend time with my arbitration practices as well. I'm married to an experienced magistrate. My daughter is a member of the bar. So in that sense, we haven't just gone out and put together two people who don't have shared interest in where this all heads. We've got a lot of common experience, and Simon and I have worked closely together since my arrival in Chambers.
Back in the 80s and 90s, my father was head of Barristers' Chambers.
Really? Are you George Garland's son?
Yes.
Ah, right.
And by his own admission, he was a successful advocate, but less successful as head of Chambers. I remember talking to him about this, and he said he never wished it upon himself, and he didn't like doing the job. What do you think?
You wrote a book about it, did you?
I did, yeah. What do you think are the key ingredients to be a successful head of Chambers?
That's a really good question. My goodness me, this is a very good question, Colin. Let me have a go first. I think it's a multiplicity of skills. I think it requires a good deal of trying to get the best out of what are already excellent people, trying to channel the creativity to the opportunity. And I mean, there are other things, but they're not very good things to publish. You know what I mean? There's being tolerant, being flexible, being patient, being, humanitarian. These are all important.
Empathetic, understanding, all of you.
Yeah, empathetic, all those sort of things. But I'm not sure it makes great press. It sounds, more like lifting the lid on what really goes on.
What about something like being human? And I say that because I've heard criticisms of some heads that they're not inhuman, but they like the status, but they don't like the responsibility, as it were.
Yeah.
Well, it is a responsibility, and I think it certainly that being entrusted with that responsibility is a huge privilege. I'd say that what makes a good head of Chambers, well, in one sense, there's an easy answer. Putting Chambers ahead of self is an important part of that equation. Bringing along others. I think Simon already hinted at this, but it's realizing the potential that Chambers represents collectively and the members individually, and in all that, it's also setting an example. So I think there are threads